everybody. Let's get together with some news. Perhaps 2022 will be the year that villages make a resolution to think safety first when navigating roundabouts in the villages. We had more than our share of serious accidents at traffic circles last year here in Florida's friendliest hometown. In February, an early morning accident in the roundabout shut down southbound traffic on the Morse Boulevard Bridge at Lake Sumter. A landscaping truck with pine straw was on the inside lane of the roundabout when a car crashed into the rear of the vehicle. A villager's adult son was arrested in March on a drunk driving charge after a crash in a roundabout near Wildwood. A woman with New York plates was arrested in September after crashing in a roundabout near Savannah Center. That same year, a 43-year-old village of DeLuna man was driving a blue 2009 Volkswagen EOS traveling south on Morse Boulevard, approaching the roundabout at Pinellas Place near the entrance to the village of Sanibel, where he suffered a seizure. His vehicle struck the rear of a black 2011 Mercedes E350 four-door driven by a 71-year-old village of Bradford man. A 76-year-old village of St. James man lost his license after crashing a black Lexus at the roundabout at Buena Vista Boulevard and St. Charles Place. Wildwood police stepped up enforcement after a motorcycle died after he had a high-speed crash in the roundabout between the village of Marsh Bend and village of McClure. A drunk driving suspect was arrested after a single vehicle crash in that same roundabout in August. Yes, I've said many times, especially during snowbird season, these crashes really ramp up. You know, even though I know all this isn't snowbirds causing this or anything like that, but it does ramp up. Common sense, population explodes, more things happen. So I said it over and over again. You come down here for a lifestyle visit or whatever, visiting grandma, taking a golf cart out for a ride, be very careful, kids. Be very careful. I know New Year's has already passed, but this is what's in there. It says outdoor facilities will remain open on New Year's Day for villagers' enjoyment. And just so you know, on New Year's Day, I think it was 80 or darn near close to that. So it was a nice day. A villager's son was arrested after allegedly threatening his mother over the volume of a television in their living room. Keith Nicholas Barnum, 43, had the TV on at a very loud volume at about 3 a.m. Wednesday, at the home he shares with his mother at 730 Roseapple Avenue in the village of Silver Lake. According to an arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department, Barnum's mother came out of her bedroom and asked her son to turn down the volume. Barnum, who had been drinking, told his mother she needed to go back to her bedroom and stay there. What? So, imprisonment? Is that what you're saying, son? He pulled out a folding razor knife and threatened to kill her. She grabbed her phone, fled to the bedroom, locked herself in the bedroom. She dialed 911. Police arrived and took Barnum into custody. He had the folding razor knife in his pocket of his shorts. His mother showed police texts he had sent her threatening to kill her. He was arrested on charges of aggravated assault and intimidation. He was booked at the Lady Lake County Jail on a $20,000 bond. Barnum has a long history of arrest. Most recently, he was arrested in February at Margarita Republic. A lot of trouble at Margarita Republic at Spanish Springs. At Spanish Springs Town Square. He had been arrested in January 2021 in another disturbance at the square. Barnum has a tattoo which reads, "Dear Mom, you have given me life, and in return, I have given you hell. Please forgive me for all my sins." Sounds like a real nut job, Mom. Get him out of here. He's old enough to take care of himself. Your neighbors don't deserve this kind of stuff either. They just don't. 3 in the morning. How many other people is he disturbing at 3 o'clock in the morning in a retirement community? In 2018, he was arrested after crashing his mother's car. This is the problem you have with these children living with their parents. It's just this kind of thing over and over and over again. This guy's been arrested 4 or 5 times since he's been here, and it's not going to end here. A Wildwood sex offender who forced himself on a young girl in 2013 has been jailed on a registration violation. Christopher Lewis Lassane, 36, who lives at 906 Kilgore Street, was booked Thursday at the Sumter County Detention Center. He was arrested after it was discovered that he had registered as the owner of a blue 2013 Dodge utility vehicle, but did not report his ownership of the vehicle to the proper authorities as required by state statute. Failure to do so is a third-degree felony. Lassane had been sentenced to 5 years in state prison after climbing through a bedroom window and forcing himself on a young girl in 2013. The girl was between 12 and 15 at the time of the crime in Lake County. Lassane was released from prison in 2018. I read this only because it's Wildwood. It's like right next door to the Brownwood area of the Villages. All of our squares are open to the public. So there's so many things here that's open to the public. Our streets, all of them, are open to the public. You don't need a gate pass to go to the gates or anything like that. We are not a gated community like some people keep saying. We're a community with gates. It's dramatically different. Nobody can refuse you from going through the gate. You can either poke the red button or go through the visitor side, and the guard there at the gate will let you in. This guy could be sitting next to you at the square. This guy could be walking around the square. All the restaurants and everything down there is open to the public. So if you're down there and you have your grandchildren with you, just know these people, not just this sex offender, but there's many of them here. Why there's so many, I don't know, but there are. Any of them could be down at the square walking around and sitting next to your grandchildren and talking to them. Just beware. Be cautious. Always be alert. A Sprouts Farmers Market will be constructed at a heavily traveled intersection in the Villages. The health-oriented grocer will be located in a new building to be constructed at the intersection of County Road 466 and Buena Vista Boulevard. The store will be built on the empty lot east of the Watercress Independent Living, Assisted Living, and Memory Care Complex, formerly Elaine Buena Vista. Sprouts Farmers Market is an American specialty grocery offering health-oriented assortments that focuses on fresh and naturally derived products. Its offerings are especially focused on produce, which constitutes around 22% of its sales last year. It was announced this week that the Villages Grown is negotiating a deal to sell its products to Sprouts Farmers Market. Remember I told you guys this is kind of like the buddy system down here, good old boy system? See what's going on there, right? I don't know, everybody's got the right to buy anything they want, anytime they want, or any of that. I'm just, for me, a guy that kind of lives on a budget. These so-called farmers markets are more expensive in most cases than they are just going to, say, Walmart grocery store. And I'm not sure that it's any better for you than anything else. Groceries are high enough, especially now during the COVID. There's every excuse in the world as to why they're getting so high. You keep hearing about the supply chain. Well, it's a supply chain. We can't get our stuff. There's nothing wrong with the supply chain. I don't care what they're telling you. The supply chain is out there. It's good. It's going. Every truck stop that I saw when we took our week trip to Indiana and came back was full of trucks and trailers. Every rest area was full of trucks and trailers. So if there's a problem with the supply chain, it seems to me what the problem is, there's not enough trucks because the ones that are out there are running and they're full and the lots are full of them. So villager arrested on DUI charge after wife falls from golf cart. It's almost an everyday thing anymore. I read these reports to help people out, and I don't know who I'm helping because it's every day. A villager has been arrested on a drunk driving charge after his wife fell from a golf cart. John Charles Gardner, 66, who lives in the Hickory Grove Villas in the village of Sunset Point. Sunset Point's a nice village to live in. It's kind of almost halfway between Lake Sumter Landing and Brownwood area. So you kind of like have the best of both worlds there. You can go one way or the other. He was driving a Yamaha golf cart at about 8 p.m. Monday at Bailey Trail and Sunset Ridge Drive when his wife fell from his golf cart while it was in motion, according to the arrest report from the Florida Highway Patrol. She hit the curb when she fell from the golf cart. She was transported by ambulance to UF Health, the village's hospital. Her husband was showing signs of possible impairment. The report said he admitted he had been drinking at dinner, and 2 containers were found in the center console of the golf cart, both of which contained a liquid which had an odor of alcoholic beverage. The trooper noted in his report Gardner performed poorly in the field sobriety exercises. He provided breath samples that registered .098 and .100 blood alcohol content. Gardner was arrested on charge of driving under the influence. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. Gardner and his wife purchased their villa in 2011. Now, let me just say real quick that I've said it before. I know that you watch regularly. You guys keep hearing me say the same things over and over again. If he goes to court and pleads no contest or whatever, and then they'll suspend his license for 6 months plus whatever the fine is. During that 6 months of his license are suspended, he is not allowed to drive any motorized vehicle, including that golf cart. And that seems to be something that people don't get or they don't understand. The Florida law says you only got to be 14 to operate a golf cart legally. You're supposed to have a picture identification card that's supplied to you by the state, usually for like $5. Most people don't. If you have a kid, most generally he never has an ID because nobody ever checks, but that's what it says. But he's not allowed to operate the golf cart either for 6 months. And a lot of these people just don't get it. A Wildwood notary has been arrested after she allegedly fraudulently notarized a document involving a dead person's bank account. Lori Ann Catron, C-A-T-R-O-N, 51, who lives in the Sandalwood condominiums, was arrested Tuesday night on a felony charge of false certification by a notary following an interview at the Sumter County Sheriff's Office Public Safety Building at Pinellas Plaza in the Villages. What a title. The Michigan native is accused of notarizing a document on August 12th, not in the presence of the person whose signature Catron was notarizing, according to the arrest report from the sheriff's office. Catron had never met the person whose signature she was notarizing. Catron signed the document and stamped it with her notary stamp and seal. The document was then used to withdraw funds from a deceased family member's bank account, since the document indicated that the victim was relinquishing control over her portion of the bank account to one of her sisters. Catron was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. She was released after posting a $2,000 bond. Seems to me that maybe they need to investigate the sister also. Ooh, this person looks angry. A villager was arrested after law enforcement responded to a report of a domestic disturbance. Ruth Louise Sachs, S-A-C-H-S, Ruth Louise Sachs, 69, was taken into custody after about 6 p.m. Tuesday after Sumter County Sheriff's deputies were called to a home in the village of Tall Trees. They were met in the driveway by a man who said he and Sachs had been involved in a verbal argument. An altercation ensued and Sachs was determined to be the primary aggressor. She was taken into custody on a misdemeanor charge of battery and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where she was initially held without bond. Here's some more illegals they caught this week sneaking into our state. I am just totally in awe what's happened to our country. Honduran cousins illegally in the United States were nabbed on Interstate 75 in Sumter County. The three men were traveling at about 4 p.m. Tuesday in a red 2003 Ford Expedition southbound on I-75 near mile marker 314 when the vehicle was pulled over due to a suspected window tint violation, according to an arrest report from the Florida Highway Patrol. The driver and registered owner of the vehicle was identified by his Honduran identification card as 36-year-old David Valecilla Paz, Valecillo, and then last name Paz, Paz. An interpreter had been called to the scene of the traffic stop. Valecilla Paz and two passengers, also identified as Hondurans, were overly nervous, the report said. Valecilla Paz said the two men were his cousins. He said they were traveling from Houston, Texas to Fort Myers because due to COVID-19, there was no work in Texas. He said he does kitchen countertop work. Valecilla Paz admitted he knew it is unlawful to transport people who illegally entered the United States into the state of Florida. He was arrested on 2 felony counts of human smuggling and a misdemeanor charge of driving without a license. Well, of course, who needs a license in Florida? This is the 5th recent human smuggling arrest on I-75 in Sumter County. On October 21, a vehicle heavily tinted windows was found to be to carry 2 males from Guatemala and 2 females from Mexico. A white Nissan Armada was pulled over November the 4th with 3 passengers that were disheveled and unbathed. One passenger was a 29-year-old woman, admitted illegally entry to the United States 3 days earlier. She said she had been at a stash house near Juarez. 4 illegal migrants were taken into custody on November the 8th as they were being transported from Michigan to Florida. A man with a sport utility vehicle full of illegal immigrants was arrested November 16th. It just goes on and on. A sex offender was arrested at Wawa in Oxford after setting up an illicit Facebook page. David Mitchell Walters, 41, who lives at 4507 Northeast 32nd Road in Wildwood, was taken into custody at 12:05 a.m. Wednesday at Wawa at County Road 466 and 301, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. That is literally next door to Southern Trace Shopping Center in the Villages. These people walk around freely in our squares and things. Just know that. An inspector with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement on Tuesday notified the sheriff's office that Walters had created a Facebook account in violation of state statute. The account showed posts dating back to October 12th. It also showed he has many female Facebook friends and a picture of a young girl prominently displayed at the top of his page. The discovery of the Facebook page created probable cause for Walters' arrest. A deputy found Walters at Wawa, and he was taken into custody on 2 felony sex offender registration violations. Walter, who was convicted in 2008 in Marion County on a charge of lewd and lascivious battery on a victim under the age of 16, was booked at Sumter County Detention Center on $50,000 bond. He had been arrested earlier this year in Lake County on another sex offender registration violation. It just goes on and on. It never stops. When do we really start protecting our children? A driver with an illegally attached Illinois license plate was arrested after a traffic stop near the Boone Gate. That's up by the historic side. Roberto Bonanno Rodriguez, 61, of Summerfield, was driving a 2009 gray Honda Fit at 4 p.m. Tuesday on U.S. Highway 27 at 441 when an officer noticed the vehicle had a cracked windshield that impaired the driver's vision, according to the arrest report from Lady Lake Police Department. A traffic stop was initiated at the Boone Gate on the historic side of the Villages. All this is up by Spanish Springs area. The officer discovered that Rodriguez does not have a valid driver's license and the vehicle had an Illinois license plate that was assigned to another vehicle. The native of Puerto Rico was also wanted on a Sumter County warrant, both charging him with failure to appear on charges of driving while license suspended. I'm sorry, it almost becomes a joke around here. He was arrested on charges of driving while license suspended and driving an unregistered vehicle. He was booked at Lake County Jail on $3,000 bond. He was given a verbal warning about the cracked windshield. A Coleman woman was arrested after an alleged attack with a pair of scissors left a man with an injury near his eye. Tava Aqua Barron, 47, was arrested on a charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon after an altercation at 7:30 p.m. Thursday in Lake Panosofsky, according to an arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Barron had armed herself with a pair of scissors and inflicted a deep laceration above man's left eye, the report said. Barron was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on $2,500 bond. The only reason why I read that is because that's not in the Villages, but Coleman is down in the newer area, Finney area, and actually beyond that. And they're talking about building the family park, supposedly, down around the Coleman area, and they can drive their car to Edna's on the Green and park it and get out and walk over there. These people, you need to know who they are, and you need to know you can't just walk around in a retirement community, or at least not this one, with your head in the sand. You know, you need to always be aware of what your surroundings are. You just need to know. Just beware, that's all. I'm not trying to scare anybody. This is not the secured, gated, quiet retirement community that you might think it is.